Hello, Scenesters! Today we are talking about a super cute, fun, and whimsical movie called Harold and the Purple Crayon, inspired by the book series with the same title. It was directed by Carlos Saldana. Mr. Saldana also directed Rio and I think a few of the Ice Age movies. Mr. Saldana was a good choice for this project in my opinion because he seems very talented at using elaborate set pieces. That's when a lot of stuff is happening on screen to make the movie more expressive, visually engaging, and more like a work of art. So it's very fitting that they used him in a movie all about having fun being creative. The humor of this movie was very strong but very understated. It's got a dry absurdity to it to complement its rich visuals. And the ensemble cast all do their part to bring good life and energy into this movie. There were some criticisms. It came out right alongside Inside Out 2 and Despicable Me 4, so it didn't receive the same box office attention it might have received if it weren't having to compete against those other franchises. But we'll talk more about that at the end. For now, this is Psychology in Movies, and I am Movie Review Justin. I take psychological concepts or maybe issues you're struggling with or just want to learn more about, and I find movies with those themes so you can watch them as homework to help empower yourself. And our themes today are creativity and disillusionment. We have a movie that explores these themes in one of the most playful, gentle, and overall accessible ways possible. At the surface level, Harold could have been a very simple visual gag and fish out of water style comedy. Fish out of water style comedy is when a person visits a new area and is shocked by how different everything is. Movies like Cars or Thor are fish out of water style comedies. But aside from its clever dialogue, what really elevates this movie is its heartfelt, coming-of-age tale of overcoming disillusionment. And that's a big word, disillusionment. But it's something we all face at times, so what is it? We'll start with disillusionment before we get into the more positive creativity. Have you ever felt like you weren't enough? Have you ever felt like nothing you do seems to matter? Have you ever felt just plain bored or suffocated from day-to-day living and work? When Harold emerges into the real world, he quickly discovers that things are not as he expected compared to the world that he came from. An old man accidentally attacks him. He's told about an exciting large superstore that sells everything, only to find out work is draining and depressing. And most disheartening, sometimes when he tries to help people, it backfires and creates more problems. In many ways, it parallels another movie, Barbie, about a children's character entering the real world and also receiving a sort of culture shock. Similar to Barbie, Harold also represents a person of pure intent. Harold is high-trusting, helpful, free from jealousy, envy, or greed. He's a person of pure heart, who always wants to be helpful to others around him. This is very contrasting to how we are as a society, because although we should all naturally be like Harold, society slowly squeezes the empathy, concern, and connection we have for each other through hostile encounters, the emotional drain of work and financial struggles, and sometimes just things not working out like we had hoped. You see, when people are placed in environments where other people are unfriendly, manipulative, or simply not connected with one another, it can cause disillusionment. When people are trying their absolute best to connect with one another or express themselves in creative ways, but they get ignored, criticized, or bullied, it can cause that person to shut down and stop wanting to connect with the world around him, in effect becoming disillusioned. That's what happens with Mel and how his art teacher criticizes some of Mel's original ideas, or how people make fun of his imaginary pet. Likewise, when we are overworked like the Terry character, or our efforts simply go unappreciated, that can also be disillusioning. And maybe more importantly, when the institutions and people that are supposed to protect us and be there for us, like our parents or our schools, seem more interested in doing what's easiest for them as opposed to what's best for us, that can also be disillusioning. Work is probably one of the leading causes of disillusionment. You see, when people feel drained from work, they start to feel more disconnected and focus just on getting through the workday, and so they can become more self-centered and ignore the world around them. And then when people interact with anyone who's socially disconnected but forced to fake friendliness and mask their discontent, interactions can feel empty and off-putting. And even these interactions might start to make us feel disconnected and wanting to be invisible as well. Everything is so stressful in the world around us to everyone that our very first thoughts many times as humans in modern society is to not cause stress to anyone around us. But that often comes at the expense of making ourselves feel smaller and more invisible to cater to the society around us instead of our own needs and creativity. Here's where Harold comes in. He's not afraid to try new ideas, even if they seem silly or different. Harold uses creativity freely to engage with others and try to help them. Helping others is the best way for us to feel connected with one another and fight off disillusionment. Helping others gives us a very strong sense of purpose, identity, and feeling of safety, pride, and belonging. Likewise, trying our best to help others but still failing or maybe even doing more harm than good can make us feel totally empty and worthless inside. So what can you do to not be disillusioned or feel empty, and what can you do to help your creativity grow? Number 1. Be grateful, especially to others. When we are grateful to the things or people around us, it can have a very grounding and calming effect on us to keep us from feeling overwhelmed. But maybe, even more importantly, people can feel when we truly appreciate them, and this opens their hearts to us and helps us feel connected, seen, and safe. The best way to get other people to appreciate us is to first start by appreciating other people. I always tell the younger people in my family, if you are happy to see people, then people will be happy to see you. Number 2. Try something new. When we are filled with cynicism and doubt, oftentimes when we try something new, we can surprise ourselves and even do things we didn't expect we were capable of. Whether it's starting a new hobby, traveling to a new place, meeting somebody new, or taking on a new challenge, these can all be ways to expand our self-esteem and shatter any feelings of that we need to make ourselves smaller or hide who we are. Trying new things helps us to be more expansive and creative. Number 3. Find your safe place or person to help you rejuvenate. Life can be tough and take a lot out of us, but finding someone to laugh with, spend time with, or just be ourselves with can recharge us like a battery, or like when we're really thirsty and drink some nice cold water or have some lemonade to drink. Healthy hobbies can help rejuvenate us also. Things like fishing, exercise, collecting cool rocks you find outside, coloring, doing puzzles, cleaning, reading. These are just a few examples, and especially spending time with pets are great ways to help us rejuvenate after a long or hard day of having to work or go to school. And these activities once again expand us as people and connect us to our community. Can you think of a person you spend time with to feel safe and more calm? Or how about a hobby like golf or bowling to help relax you? Number 4. Be authentically you. We all have unique gifts, but even unique values and ideals help define who we are. When we stay true to ourselves, and especially our values, it can be challenging, but the longer we stay true to ourselves, even through challenging situations, the stronger our sense of self and identity and confidence in ourselves becomes. Harold does face challenges in this movie that make him question who he is. Not just where he came from, but his values and his self-worth as a person. He starts to feel less than. When Terry warns him to stay away because he's causing more problems, this really hurts Harold's feelings, who just wants to help people. But by staying true to who he is, a person who just wants to help, even in a hopeless situation, he's able to see his true character and be proud and grateful for who he is. By staying true to his values, this actually restores his sense of self. We always have to be true to ourselves. One thing that I really liked about this movie is that although Harold uses art to express himself and loves art, he encourages other people to be their authentic selves, like how he encourages Terry to get back into music, or Library Gary to enter into his own fantasy world. We all have hobbies unique to us, and when we pursue our talents and hobbies, we pursue our destiny and purpose. I've talked about purpose a lot on this channel. Here at Psychology and Movies, we seriously and strongly believe in the divinity of all people, that all people have this potential to bring meaning to the world and to themselves, that we have gifts that need to be expressed, whether it's through talent, hard work, or friendship. Harold is a super sweet movie. It did have critics, but most critiques that I've seen of this film I don't think are fair because they're not really critiques of the movie itself, but what the reviewer would have personally done if they had made a Harold movie. And I don't think that's fair criticism. Criticism has to be about the movie itself and not about what the reviewer would have personally done if they had made a Harold movie with like a totally different plot, but I digress. Maybe other movies like Office Space also deal with this topic of disillusionment, but Harold was so sweet and my girlfriend and I really liked this movie, so I'm using my special talent of video editing to make this video for both of us. I'm so thankful to my girlfriend for showing me these cute films. What are some talents you have that other people know you for? What are some people that you find to be very talented or admire? What's something new you would want to try and maybe something you wouldn't? And lastly, can you think of a person who you believe to be truly authentic? And maybe try to understand that even they have doubts about themselves, and so it's okay and normal if you have doubts sometimes about yourself too. This has been Movie Review Justin. This is Psychology in Movies. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon now that it's summer. Hopefully I have a lot more time now to make more videos. So we'll see you. Take care and stay healthy and informed. Thanks for watching.